Chosen one, be still for a moment, my child, because just before you paused before these words, a hidden movement began unfolding to bring you precisely to the place where you needed to awaken. I have not called you here to stir temporary excitement within you, or to make you chase vague signs, but to help you recognize that the journey which appeared motionless is actually entering a new stage. There are seasons when I work so quietly that all you can see are repeated days, ordinary responsibilities, and unanswered questions. Yet beneath that silence, I have been rearranging many things. The way you see yourself, the people permitted to walk beside you, the direction of opportunities, and the lessons you must carry before entering a wider place. The stirring you feel is not a warning that should cause panic. It is a gentle reminder that you are no longer meant to live as though your future were limited by what is presently visible. For a long time, you passed through seasons of preparation without understanding why you had to wait so much. You made an effort, yet the results seemed painfully slow. You opened your heart, yet disappointment returned many times. You trusted, then had to learn how to stand again. After events did not unfold as you hoped, there were doors you prayed would open, but they remained silent until you became too weary to keep knocking. There were people you believed would walk beside you for a very long time, yet they left when you needed them most. You regarded these things as losses, and even wondered whether you had taken the wrong road. But now, I want you to look back through a deeper vision. Not everything that leaves your hands is punishment, and not everything that arrives late means you have been forgotten. Some paths closed because behind them was a cost you were not yet wise enough to recognize. Some relationships had to end because they suited only the person you once were and could not accompany you into new responsibility. What you called delay was often the time I used to protect you from entering too soon. My beloved child, the purpose of this transition is not to make you chase money, reputation, or position in order to prove that you have won. I am leading you into a more mature understanding of abundance. Provision is not merely having more. It is knowing what has been entrusted to you, why it was given, and how to use it without harming yourself or others. Influence is not measured by how many people know your name, but by whether your words and actions bring light, strength, and direction to those who are confused. Power is not found in making others bow before you, but in your ability to preserve kindness when authority is placed in your hands. If you desire elevation only to compensate for having once been overlooked, the new position will merely magnify wounds that have not been healed. Therefore, before placing greater resources into your hands, I have been reshaping your identity, teaching you that your value does not come from numbers, praise, or the approval of the world. True change always begins within. Before you can manage more, you must learn how to care for the little you already have. Before being given a wider sphere, you must prove that you can keep your word in small matters. Before entering an environment of influence, you must know how to prevent attention from changing your pure nature. I used the days when no one was watching to form endurance within you. I used misunderstandings to teach you not to live through the constant need to defend yourself. I allowed you to experience lack, not so that you would forever carry a mindset of poverty, but so that, when abundance comes, you will not forget those who are still struggling. You cannot preserve something great while secretly believing you are unworthy of it, or while every choice is controlled by the fear of losing it. Therefore, You must leave behind the belief that you are merely someone trying to survive, and enter the understanding that you are being prepared to build, manage, and give. Although the surface of your life may not yet appear greatly changed, the ground beneath you is no longer the same. You are beginning to see what you once overlooked, recognize the habits that drain your strength, and feel increasingly unable to remain peacefully within old cycles. Some conversations leave you more exhausted instead of strengthened. Certain familiar environments now make you feel as though you must diminish your abilities in order to be accepted. Goals that once satisfied, you are no longer large enough to contain the desire to serve that is awakening within you. Do not treat this dissatisfaction as a reason to destroy everything hastily. Receive it as an invitation to observe, discern, and make adjustments one step at a time. I do not lead you through chaos. When a direction is truly right, you will sense a steady peace within, even when challenges remain ahead, and not every answer has yet been given. Therefore, instead of merely waiting for a miracle to fall from above, cooperate with the movement already taking place. Bring order to unfinished work. Look honestly at disorganized spending, and learn to manage your present resources seriously. Care for your health, rest, and concentration, because a great assignment cannot be carried by someone who is continually depleted. Develop your abilities, keep learning, and do not allow pride to prevent you from admitting what you do not yet know. Opportunity may appear through a brief conversation, an unexpected introduction, or a task that initially seems very small. If you search only for what is spectacular, you may overlook the simple bridge leading to where you need to go. I want you to be prepared not only through words, but through the way you live each day, so that when the moment opens, you will not have to rush frantically to become the person you should begin building today. Alongside this preparation, you must also learn to keep private what is still young. Not everyone needs to know what is being placed within your heart. Some will hear your dream and compare it with their own limitations. Others may not intend to harm you, yet their fears will cause them to sow doubt into something you have only just found the courage to believe. You do not need to argue in order to defend every plan. Allow consistency, character, and results to speak gradually. Wise silence is not the same as fear. It is the ability to protect a seed until its roots are deep enough. When I want you to share, you will recognize the person who can listen without controlling, encourage without flattering, and offer correction without making you diminish yourself. Treasure such people, because lasting transformation requires not only opportunity, but also healthy relationships. Do not believe that increase means every difficulty will disappear immediately. Each new level of responsibility carries new lessons. When you have greater resources, you will need greater discipline. When your voice is heard more widely, you must weigh each word more carefully. When more people approach you, you must discern who genuinely needs help and who merely seeks to use your kindness. I do not want you to become cold, but I do want you to stop granting unlimited access to those who do not respect your boundaries. You can be compassionate without destroying yourself, generous without being manipulated, and forgiving without returning to a place that repeatedly wounded you. Your maturity will be seen not only in what you receive, but also in the way you preserve your peace while keeping your heart tender. Therefore, my beloved child, do not underestimate the present stillness. This is not yet the time for everything to be announced loudly. It is a season when the deepest foundations are being moved and placed into their proper positions. You have not been forgotten, and you are not late. The disappointments that once made you want to stop are gradually revealing their lessons. What you believed was lost may be making room for something more suitable. Doors that have not opened are not evidence that you have no future. They are reminders to continue preparing so that you do not enter without stability. Move forward with clear eyes, humility, and hands ready to work. I am leading you from confusion into order, from fear into stewardship, and from the mindset of merely wanting to be rescued from hardship into the ability to become a source of strength for many. When visible things begin to appear, you will realize that the transformation began long ago, during the very days when you believed nothing was happening. Remember this deeply. The blessing you once prayed for has not lost its way in the world, because it carried your name long before you understood that you needed it. I did not begin preparing your future on the day you cried out, nor did I hastily construct a road simply because you became aware of your lack. What belongs to you was arranged in advance, preserved throughout seasons you did not understand, and shaped even during periods when you believed nothing was happening. You called it delay, because your eyes saw only the unopened door, but I called it protection because I knew what awaited behind each door. You believed silence meant you had been forgotten. Yet within that very silence, I was building foundations, arranging people, adjusting timing, and removing things your own strength could not reach. There were doors you tried to push open with all your might. But had they opened then, you might have entered a place that exhausted you even more than the waiting season. Therefore, do not grieve over paths that once closed. Often, the greatest mercy is hidden inside a rejection you did not yet understand. Every life has a moment when invisible movements begin before outward circumstances offer any evidence. Those who look only at results often miss this stage, because they assume that no visible change means nothing is happening. But my beloved child, I have seen the transformation within you. The burden that once pressed upon you as though it would never leave no longer holds you as tightly as before. Fears that once spoke loudly in your mind are gradually losing their authority. Certain subjects that once caused immediate panic can now be faced with a new calmness. You are beginning to ask different questions, make more careful choices, and refuse to hand control over to temporary emotions. This is not random. It is evidence that your inner being is aligning with something greater. Before I change where you stand, I change the way you see. Before I increase what you possess, I increase your capacity, so that what you receive will not overwhelm you. You once desired a very quick rescue. You wanted every pressure to disappear and every prayer to be answered immediately. I understand, because you had become weary after too many days of having to hold yourself together. But what you needed was not only a moment of relief. You needed a lasting change that would prevent you from returning to the old cycle. If I placed great resources into your hands, while fear of lack still controlled you, you might cling tightly to everything and never experience true peace. If I brought you into a higher position while you still depended upon approval, every criticism would have enough power to make you doubt yourself. If I gave you a precious relationship while old wounds remained unrecognized, you might turn love into a place where you seek rescue rather than a place where two people grow together. Therefore, the quiet seasons were not useless emptiness. They were where you were expanded, trained, and strengthened, so that what is coming will not merely visit, but remain. I do not release what is precious into disorder that has not been arranged. I do not entrust great responsibility to hands that are still pulled in every direction by the voices around them. For this reason, you had to learn how to simplify your life, release unnecessary concerns, and stop chasing every door merely because it looked like an opportunity. I taught you to remain silent when no explanation was needed, to say no when something disturbed your peace, and to wait even when nothing outward guaranteed the outcome. These lessons sometimes made you feel alone, but they have been forming someone capable of stewardship. Blessing requires not only faith to receive it, but wisdom to preserve it. You are being taught not to waste yourself in meaningless arguments, not to use resources to prove your worth, and not to allow expansion to make you forget what once kept you standing. I want you to remain gentle when you receive more, to remember the unseen days when others begin to notice you, and to continue choosing what is good over what is impressive when your power of choice increases. Perhaps outwardly, your life still looks very ordinary. Bills continue to arrive, work still needs to be completed, familiar conversations continue, and daily responsibilities have not disappeared. Yet you have begun to feel something difficult to name. You no longer see yourself through the same eyes. Limitations that once appeared permanent now look like walls that can be crossed. Labels you accepted from others no longer agree with the truth growing within you. You no longer want to live merely to satisfy expectations. You are no longer content with a life continually shrinking because of the fear of failure. And you no longer want to carry thoughts that have kept you small. This transformation may be as silent as pressure changing inside a room. No one around you may notice, but you know you cannot return to the old way of living. This is the true beginning of elevation. Not when the crowd sees that you have changed, but when you stop agreeing with the version of yourself that fear once controlled. Do not rush to seek a dramatic sign confirming what is happening. Lasting transitions often begin through very small decisions. You stop speaking negatively about yourself, stop chasing those who do not value your presence, begin keeping promises made in private, and choose rest, rather than continuing to exhaust yourself in order to prove that you are useful. Such things may not impress the world, but they create a new order within your life. Each time you choose clarity over confusion, you make more room for what I want to entrust to you. Each time you refuse to return to an old habit, simply because it is familiar, you close another door leading back to the past. Each time you patiently do well with what you possess, even without recognition, you demonstrate that you can be trusted with more. You must also stop believing that blessing is only an unexpected outward event. Often, the first great gift I give is a new peace, a mind no longer dragged around by every circumstance, and the ability to recognize what truly belongs to you. When you possess clarity, you will no longer grasp everything out of fear of lack. When you know your value, you will no longer accept every invitation, simply because you desire recognition. When there is order within you, outward things also begin to find their proper place. Opportunities become easier to recognize. Relationships can be evaluated correctly, and resources are no longer wasted upon what only leaves you empty. This is the deep preparation you failed to recognize during the days when it appeared that nothing was changing. Therefore, stop doubting the silent seasons. I never abandoned you in emptiness. I used that emptiness to cleanse your vision. I never forgot your prayer. I protected the answer from times that were not yet suitable. What belongs to you does not have to wander everywhere searching for you, because I know exactly where you are and who you must become in order to receive it. Your task is not to force every door, but to keep your heart upright, do well with what stands before you, and continue growing in wisdom. When the time is ripe, you will understand that what appeared late actually arrived precisely when it should. When elevation becomes visible, you will realize that it did not begin on the day the world noticed your transformation. It began long ago, in the moment when you stopped seeing yourself through old eyes and began believing that your life could be led into a better order. You are feeling the pressure first, because you are the one chosen to end cycles that have existed for too long in your life. I want you to understand this, so that you will no longer panic when what once satisfied you suddenly becomes too small. There are mornings when you awaken and realize that you cannot continue living as before, even though no dramatic event has occurred outwardly. A quiet calling within begins rejecting compromises that were once considered normal, habits that once made you feel safe, and limitations you accepted for so long that you mistook them for destiny. This is not ingratitude, nor is it evidence that you have become dissatisfied with everything. You are simply awakening to the truth that a life that was sufficient for your former self is no longer enough for the person you are being trained to become. Because the change has begun within, opportunities that once excited you may no longer be suitable. Some doors look attractive, yet each time you prepare to enter, you feel a deep hesitation. An invitation that once represented your dream may appear, only for you to realize that it demands you diminish the values that have recently been formed. Do not blame yourself for changing. What suited you in the previous season may no longer nourish you in the next. When your vision expands, you cannot continue choosing only according to convenience, appearance, or the fear of missing out. I am teaching you to ask deeper questions. Will this make you more upright? Will it protect your peace? Does it agree with the responsibility I am placing in your hands? Maturity is sometimes revealed not through receiving more, but through the ability to refuse what is no longer worthy of you. Relationships around you may also begin to shift in ways that hurt. Someone once very close may no longer understand your transformation. Conversations that once gave you a sense of belonging may now leave you exhausted, because you must continually pretend to remain the person you once were. Not every distance arises from betrayal or malice. Sometimes two people are simply walking in different directions, and trying to preserve the former shape of a relationship that has fulfilled its purpose will only cause greater pain. I do not want you to turn away from others in pride, but neither do I want you to abandon yourself merely to preserve familiarity. Be grateful for those who once walked beside you, value the good they gave, and peacefully accept that not everyone is called to enter every chapter of your life. At first, the increasing pressure may make you believe that you prayed for the wrong thing. You expected breakthrough to make everything easier. Yet as the new door approaches, responsibility becomes heavier. The demands of discipline increase, and your weaker areas become more visible. You wonder why you prayed more, but life has not become easier. Yet, my beloved child, expansion always creates tension before it creates room. A garment made for your former size becomes tight as you grow, a vessel that must contain More has to be made deeper and stronger. What you feel is not evidence that I have moved away. It is evidence that your capacity is increasing, so that the very thing you once desired will not destabilize you. Remember that a seed cannot enter new life while trying to preserve its protective shell forever. It must crack, endure darkness beneath the soil, and press through the weight above before seeing the light. If a seed could feel, perhaps it would believe it was being destroyed. Yet what looks like the ending of its former shape is actually the beginning of a much larger life. You are passing through a similar process. The layers that once protected you from being hurt may now prevent you from receiving love. Reactions that once helped you survive can no longer lead you toward maturity. I am breaking open what has become too narrow, not to destroy you, but to create a path through which new life can emerge. I am increasing your ability to carry responsibility, and such capacity is rarely formed during days when everything goes smoothly. You do not learn patience when every answer comes immediately. You cannot know the strength of faithfulness if you have never had to continue while no one was watching. You cannot develop discernment if every choice before you is obvious and easy. The seasons when you had to move slowly, consider carefully, and endure uncertainty taught you to see beyond appearances. Do not despise every difficult day merely because it once made you weep. Part of the strength you now possess was formed precisely in the places where you believed you were merely trying to survive another day. Many desire to receive more, but do not want to be corrected more deeply. They pray for increase while insisting upon keeping every old habit. They want influence, but refuse to accept responsibility for their words, attitudes, and choices. They desire elevation, but do not want to learn how to bow down, listen, serve, and admit when they are wrong. I love you too much to give you a gift that your present character cannot manage. Some gifts, when received too soon, do not become blessings but burdens that destroy peace. Therefore, allowing you to wait was not rejection. It was the care of the one who sees both what you are asking for and the hidden demands that come with it. Wealth placed into the hands of someone who has not learned self-restraint can nourish greed and lead them away from what is precious. Influence given to someone, still governed by the need for applause, can make them exchange authenticity for the approval of the crowd. Authority placed in the hands of someone who has not learned humility can leave them lonely in the midst of their own achievement. I do not want what you receive to become a trap that makes you lose the goodness within you. Therefore, before expanding your sphere, I am strengthening your foundation. I teach you to keep your word when no one checks, do what is right when no one praises you, treat kindly those who cannot benefit you, and step away from what is attractive but impure. These lessons may appear small, but they determine whether you can remain standing when something greater is entrusted to you. Look back upon the years behind you with new eyes. There were doors you prayed for a long time to open, yet they remained closed. At the time, you believed others were advancing while you were being left behind. There were opportunities that appeared to be developing well and then suddenly disappeared, causing you to wonder whether you lacked ability. There were seasons when you worked wholeheartedly without being seen, planted without receiving any sign of harvest, and continued without recognition. I know these things saddened you and sometimes caused you to question your own value. Yet the person you were then did not possess the calmness, wisdom, and depth you carry today. Had certain doors opened during that time, you might have entered impatiently, depended too heavily upon the opinions of others, or tried to prove yourself through unwise choices. Some things you called delays were actually protection. Some relationships did not progress because I could see what you could not. Some opportunities failed to develop because they would have demanded much without truly nourishing your purpose. Some places did not receive you because, had you remained, you might have spent years trying to please people who would never understand your value. When you look back, do not remember only the feeling of rejection. See also the harm you avoided, the lessons you had time to learn, and the growth formed during the waiting. Not every closed door was working against you. Sometimes it was a protective boundary preventing you from entering a room before you were wise enough to know whether you should remain or leave. The discipline you possess today did not appear overnight. It was formed every time you awakened and continued, even when emotion no longer supported you. Your present discernment did not come from days when everyone treated you honestly, but from moments when you had to distinguish promises from actions. The quiet strength now rising within you was not born from applause, but from roads where you had to remind yourself that what is right remains worth doing, even when no one sees. You learned to stand without requiring the world to witness your pain, to continue without allowing loneliness to turn into bitterness, and to preserve a tender heart while your boundaries became firmer. This is the capacity I have been building. Therefore, do not pray for the pressure to disappear before it has completed its necessary work. Ask for wisdom to know what must be released, strength to continue, and peace so that you will not react from fear. You do not have to enjoy every part of the process, but you can trust that it is forming someone capable of carrying responsibility without being consumed by it. Rest when necessary, care for yourself, and do not treat exhaustion as proof of faithfulness. I am expanding you, not forcing you toward destruction. True maturity includes knowing when to move forward, when to pause, when to speak, and when to allow silence to protect what is forming. My child, what is happening is not evidence that your life has become heavy without meaning. You are leaving behind patterns that cannot accompany your future. You are being freed from the identity that required you to live small, so that others could feel comfortable. You are being prepared to receive more while preserving purity. A time will come when you look back at closed doors, hidden seasons, and uncelebrated steps and recognize that all of them contributed to the steadiness you now possess. Move forward without despising who you once were, for that person did everything possible to bring you here. Yet do not return to live inside a garment that has become too tight. The pressure you feel is not a declaration that you are about to collapse. It is a sign that you are growing enough to enter a broader sphere, where what you receive will not cause you to lose yourself, but will become a means through which you live with greater usefulness, humility, and wholeness.